Free your mind.
Dalail al-Nubuwwah is to prove the inherent nature of the Prophet, that the Prophet himself came with certain proofs. Once you establish those proofs, to deny the Prophet was basically just kufr. It was a type of rejection of a truth that was so evident. And some of those were done through his predictions. I mean, for instance, I was telling my brother the other day, there's a hadith that the end of time won't come until a man's shoe talks to him. Now, when I first read that hadith, it just sounded so far-fetched to me. It really sounded strange as a hadith. I mean, I admit that. When I read it, I was thinking, why would anybody have a shoe that talked? Do you know? Although, I mean, I'm living in an age of miracles and wonders.
Interesting times.
Yeah, no, it is. It's the boy in the bubble and the baby with the baboon heart. Right? It's very odd time. So you have, if you look at this hadith about the talking shoe, so I read that years ago, and well, lo and behold, a couple months ago, I'm reading the New York Times, and there's an article, these shoes are made for talking. And the article was about Nike produced a shoe now that tells you in a digital voice, you can ask it, how far have you walked? And it'll tell you in a digital voice, you have walked 2.5 miles. So when I told my brother that, he said, that's prophecy. Right? He's a lawyer. I mean, lawyers, they deal in evidence. Right? He just said to me, that's prophecy, to see that. The Prophet ﷺ predicted a fire near Medina that he said would be so great that it would illumine the necks of camels in Busra, which is on the border of Syria and Saudi Arabia today. Now, that sounded crazy at the time for somebody to think of that, the Arabs, to think of a fire so great that light, it would illumine a place in Syria. Well, lo and behold, 1258, there was six major volcanic eruptions just outside of Medina. A fire extended 200 kilometers. I've seen it. I've been there. And 70 kilometers wide. Now, I was there with a Welsh geologist who is not a Muslim, scientist, and we filmed him outside of the Haram, and we have him on tape. And this lava flow went towards the city, and right before it got to Medina, it literally begins to go uphill.
So against the force of nature.
The force of gravity, it goes up towards Mount Uhud. And I asked him, why did it turn like that? Because you can see it on the satellite thing. He said, I have no scientific explanation for that. This is a PhD in geology. I have no scientific explanation. He said, I heard people prayed, and I guess their prayers got answered. And then I asked him, how far would have this light been seen? He said, this was massive. It would have been seen probably to the borders of Iraq. I mean, that's what he said. And so here I am witnessing something that our Prophet ﷺ predicted with my own eyes. Now, where did that knowledge come from? That's revelation. That's not something, that people just say. It's something that he predicted.